What is up, YouTube? Bunny Films here with a brand new video, and we are back in the great game of Lumber Tycoon 2. And today we have a quick and easy tutorial how to get the Rukiry axe or the shark axe in 2022. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hop right into things. You're going to need a total of 4 items to get this, and it will cost you about $10,000 total. So you'll probably want to chop down some trees like some oak wood, some cherry, even some birch, all the way up to the volcano. But this is a very good axe that it's better than all of the axes in the store here, and I'll show you how good it is later on. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to buy all of the items. Also, if you didn't follow a tutorial, one of the other ways you could have figured out how to get this is by reading the posters here. So let's go ahead and, well, there's actually multiple posters scattered throughout the stores here, but let's go ahead and go through the tutorial. So the first store is Wood R Us. You need to go ahead and buy a bag of sand, which is located just back here. And let's go ahead and see what the price is. Also, I am slightly rushed. It is 1,600, so it's one of the cheaper items for this quest. We also have to get the fancy furnishings before it closes, but I do not know if we will make it. So let's go ahead. Let's get our bag of sand for $1,600. There we go. And then the next place is, well, we have to first lower the bridge, but then the next place is going to be fancy furnishings, where we buy the light bulb. And like I said, to get the fancy furnishings, you have to go ahead and lower the bridge for $100 for 3 minutes. And fancy furnishings does close during the nighttime, so it's a bit of a rush to get over there before they do, or else we'll just have to wait like an additional 10, 15, 20 minutes until it turns day again. But let's go ahead. I think Waldy's loading in their base, so there's a bit of lag in the server, so let's go ahead and wait a bit. So after you cross the bridge, just follow the road and then you'll arrive at fancy furnishings. Here we have to go ahead and buy the light bulb. I'm very rushed because any second it will close. And it's obvious when it closes because all the lights will turn off and the doors will close. Let's see. Hello, Corey. Are you Corey? I think you are. Can I talk to you, please? Pretty please. Cherry on top, can I talk to you? Why aren't you letting me? So now we can talk to Corey and buy the light bulb for $2,600. There we go. We got it before it closed. And the lag is just from the base loading in. I don't like how Defaultio changed it where your base loads in faster and the store closes. But it was recently changed where your base loads in faster, but then it just creates a really unreasonable amount, or not unreasonable, but just a high spike in lag, which slows things down. But the final store is Bob's Shack, where we have to get 2 items. We have to get the can of worms, which I like to call a can of beans, and also 1 stick of dynamite. You can bring another stick as well if you just want to be safe, because most likely you will need a second stick. But what you can always do is just unload your base. That way you can then teleport back to it once you load it back in. So now we have all 4 items, so let's go ahead and show you how to get to the secret room where you redeem the items and get yourself this axe. And first we need to get back to the bridge. If you go to Bob's Shack, if you drive around, you should find the road again. It's on this little same island. There's no other way back, I mean, by driving, except for going across the bridge. It should also be going up any moment now, just because of my luck. So yeah, is it going up? Is it going up? Oh, nope, it's not. Okay, we actually made it just in time. Okay, how nice. Okay, so you want to go ahead and follow this road past Wood R Us to the wood drop-off area, and then you want to go ahead and turn left. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. It is also nighttime, so I apologize if it's difficult to see, but you want to go left, then you would continue through here, and then you want to just keep going straight until you, like, I don't know, you can go straight until you see this big wall here. Then you want to go right between this like little, I don't know, rock, and then this big wall, and then you come across, if you just keep going straight against that wall, you come across this, and these are the boulders that block your way. You can obviously, or not obviously, but you can walk through them, but because you want to, I mean, it just take a lot of time if you carry each item there, so it's just easier if you bring some dynamite. If you do have friends, you want to make sure that they have you whitelisted, and you might just have to whitelist them. That way you can actually detonate it, or else you will get a warning that you can't light the dynamite and it won't explode until they're further away or whitelisted, or they whitelist you. So then once you're in the snow biome, you want to go ahead, take a sharp right, and just to keep things simple, you want to go ahead and follow along this wall here. So you don't want to go anywhere else, just stick along this wall once you turn right, and then you should come across this place. And it's not very obvious where it is either, except for a small marking on the wall. Once you come to like this little cove here, there's a wall right there, and then like this. There's actually you can faintly see it, but there's a red eagle on the wall. If you don't see it, another thing that can be helpful is if you take your cursor, once you get past this corner here, you can take your cursor, hold it down to the snow, and if you look at the bottom left of your screen, you can actually see E to open hatch, or whatever keybind you have. So if you press E, or whatever your device you're on, you can go ahead, open the hatch, hop down it, and then you are now inside of the room with all the secret items. Well, actually, we don't have the secret items yet. It's the secret room with the items. So let's go ahead, and we're going to bring all 3 items down with us. I'm just going to pile them up here. 1, 2, got the light bulb. There we go. And number 3, the sand. Best item out of all of them, because who doesn't like sand? And then we can just go ahead, throw all 3 items down here like so, and then throw ourselves down here, and voila. So we are now in the secret dungeon, or the den as it's called, and we can go ahead and get ourselves our Rukiryaxe. And before I do so, one thing to note is if you do this on October 31st, aka Halloween, you will not get a Rukiryaxe. You'll get a much more cool axe, in my opinion, the End Times axe, which is the only axe that can chop End Times wood. So if you want to do that, just bring all 3 items and do the exact same thing. Just the only thing you have to do is do it on Halloween. But let's go ahead and lay out these items. So we want to first take the can of worms, the gummy worms. We're going to put it on this plate here, like so. I have to position them nicely so I can get a good thumbnail. Next up, we have to get the light bulb, and the light bulb goes directly across from the worms. So right here on this plate, there we go. And then finally, you open this bag of sand. Actually, I'm going to close the chat because this is, once you set this sand down, the axe will descend and you will get it. Let's go ahead and do it. Oh, look at the music. Beautiful music. You see a big glow coming from above, and there you have the Rukiryaxe. How to get it in 2022. So one thing you can also do with this as well, you can't move the items because they are going to disappear. You can go ahead and take this axe with you. Before you pick it up, if you do this, you can make it fly around and do really cool things. So we're going to play around with that for just a bit, and then eventually the effect will go away and it will just become a regular axe. But for now, it is just a floating axe. So let's go ahead and we can take it driving with us. Like, look at that. It's faster than our car. It's like cursed or something, and then it hits a tree and gets stuck. Oh, it's still going. So yeah, that's a cool thing you can do with the axe. But let's go ahead and show you how good this axe really is. So you just press E to pick it up, and as you can see, it's not glowing anymore, and if you drop it, it doesn't float. So that's just a one-time thing, basically. So let's go ahead and show you how good this axe is. We're going to go back to the main biome where we are going to test this on a few trees like oak wood and cherry wood, and then we're going to also compare it to some of the other axes you can buy in the game. Not the mini axe, because I mean the mini axe is vastly superior, but we're going to compare it to some of the axes you can buy in the store, like the silver axe and even the basic hatchet. So here at Wood or Rust, we're just going to go ahead. We have a basic hatchet on the shelf. I'm going to go ahead and get a silver axe as well, which is the best axe in this store. So let's go ahead and buy them for $2,052. There we go. So let's pick them up. And I actually do have a mini axe, so we can go ahead and compare it as well. But here we have an oak tree. Actually, let's go to a better lit one, where we can just turn our truck so we can see it. There we go. Okay, so here we have an oak tree. I mean, basic tree, like one of the first trees you chop in the game. With the Rukiryaxe, here is one chop. That is just one swing, and it also does have, there's another factor we have to consider, which is like the cooldown between swings. So that's different for every axe, but also we can obviously see the damage from each one. So let's go ahead and give it a whack with the basic hatchet. So that's the basic hatchet. Look at that, just one swing. Then here we have a silver axe, one swing, which is actually almost the same as the Rukiryaxe. Let's see. I think the Rukiryaxe does slightly more damage if we compare them. And then one other thing is the mini axe, which just, I mean, literally is one swing to chop the whole thing down. And this does vary between trees. I mean, like some are tougher to chop and whatever. But the other thing is the cooldown. So if you have the Rukiryaxe, you can see that it chops very quickly. Then if you have the basic hatchet, well, one, you have to be close to the tree. It does swing quite quickly, but it definitely does have less range, maybe? maybe not. Yeah, it has less range than the Rukiryaxe. And then if we have the Silver Axe, the Silver Axe is still a good axe, but it does take 2 or 3 chops, excuse me, to chop this down, and so does the Rukiryaxe, but the Rukiryaxe still does barely more damage. And then we have, I mean, the Many Axe, which has a very slow cooldown time, yet it does have an extreme amount of power. As you can see, just 1 chop to chop it down, whereas the Rukiryaxe and Silver Axe are both 3 chops, and then the basic hatchet is probably like 20 or 30, because it's a very bad axe. But that is it for today's video, everyone. So if you liked today's video, consider pressing the like button or even subscribing, because we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Very insane, but we should hit it sometime this year. I'm super excited. Also, I do owe a shout out to all of my Discord server boosters and channel members, because they get an exclusive shout out for boosting my server. You can join the server at discord.gg/bunnyfilms or using the link in the description. But shout outs go out to Bubba1025, Cybernetic Duck, Feline Sean, Finbar, and Furious, King Ryan, Mr. Mango Man, Nazab, Orbit Shifty, Pro Gamer Doggo, Sadistic, Sir Spooky, Surf, Smart T16, The Sun, Voxes, Damon McMahon, Surf, The ISS, and Dreams Speedruns. And one last thing I do want to add is that I know, like, I record this video a lot, but every year I do, like, I don't, it's hard to explain, but even though like this whole thing doesn't change, it's just like more credible if it's recently done. So I did this in 2021, so I'm doing this again in 2022. That way you can see that this works. So if it doesn't work for any reason, leave a comment below and I'll try to help you. But that's it, everyone. Have a great day. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.